Parents who raise their children vegan are often criticized for forcing their beliefs onto their kids, or worse, accused of brainwashing their children and robbing them of their freedom to choose. Well, today, the brainwashers answer back. Hi, it's Emily from Bite Size Vegan, and welcome to another Vegan Nugget. Raising children vegan is a surprisingly controversial practice. From concerns about malnutrition to projections of social isolation, sometimes the hardest part of being a vegan parent is fielding questions and criticisms from family, friends, doctors, and total strangers. If you're familiar with my channel, you'll know that I have a video series just for kids, including several interviews with real vegan kids. Well, today I'm excited to launch my Vegan Parents series featuring some fantastic vegan families. So, let's meet the parents, shall we? There's Jesse from the Bronx and New York City, New York, father of Zachary, who's 2, and 4-year-old Jesse Jace, whom you can meet in my Vegan Kids interview series. Martin and Katie from London, England, parents of Sam, who's 17, Jamie, who's 15, and 4-year-old JoJo, another kids interview series star. Shantelle from Cambridge, Massachusetts, mother of 8-year-old Izzy, who lays down some serious wisdom in my kids interview series. Raffaela from Lisbon, Portugal, mother of 5-year-old Vasco, and since my pronunciation leaves much to be desired, disculpa, let's let him show you how it's done.
Hello, I am Vasco.
Much better. Melissa from Ann Arbor, Michigan, mother of 2 young adults, ages 21 and 18, and 4-year-old Reuben. Ellen from Maui, Hawaii, mother of 1-year-old Sandy and 4-year-old Elvis, another showstopper in my kids' interview series. Crystal and Eric from Virginia, parents of 14-year-old Jordan, 8-year-old Alejandro, both of whom feature in the kids' interview series, as well as 2 young adults who are 19 and 21. And finally, Theresa, mother of 10-year-old Amina, and Cara, mother of 11-year-old Jude and 9-year-old Gala, with the whole lot of them hailing from Brisbane, Australia, and appearing in my kids' interview series. In addition, one of Cara's 3 grown children, India, chimed in as a vegan parent-to-be. Since some of the Skype connections were a little rough, you can always turn on the captions and read along. In this interview series, these parents will be answering a number of questions and responding to common concerns about raising vegan kids. And I thought, what better place to start than asking for their responses to the accusation of making kids vegan by force?
Well, I feel that it's quite the contrary. When you raise your child eating meat, you're forcing your beliefs on them because you're not telling them what they're eating. You're giving them food-like items like hamburgers and hot dogs and, chicken-shaped fingers in the shapes of hearts and stars. We have animals around him. He has no desire to eat the cat, no desire to eat the dog. He, in its purest form, he wants to eat fruits and vegetables. So at an older age, if he really decides on his own free will that he wants to eat animals, he's more than welcome. But, right now we're giving him choices, and he's more than happy to stick with the vegan options. And, so I feel it's not forcing him at all. I've taken him to social events, and he never ever once thinks about eating meat or eating animals. Like, if anything, he asked me, like, wow, those people are eating meat, and he thinks it's insane. So I think it's quite the contrary. We out and about, he never says, "Daddy, Mommy, please, I want to eat chicken." Like, it doesn't happen. He's happy, he's healthy. So I don't see it as you're forcing your child in any way.
I think people have to remember that you're not forcing anything. What you're doing is actually closer to their nature. You'd have to be disturbing their nature more to redirect them towards meat, dairy, and eggs. I think people get confused that just because it's the majority, it doesn't make it normal. What we're doing is allowing them to be in touch with their nature and keeping that there. We don't have to lie. We make sure we are absolutely truthful about everything. And they've made their own informed decision. We haven't forced anything upon them. We told them this food comes from these animals. Our older kids, we educate them, and they all responded with wanting to go vegan. That wasn't anything to do, and that was contradicting, especially for my teens, 13, 15 years of information telling them otherwise. So I think people have to realise they're forcing more negative stuff on their children by saying, eat this stuff which causes this harm to your body and causes harm to animals and the planet.
I think the same could be said about a traditional American diet. I think that if you are giving your child hot dogs and hamburgers and chicken, isn't that forcing your beliefs onto your child as well? So, and I always tell Izzy, if you decide when you get older you want to eat meat, and which she's always like, no way, never. That's your choice. But I want you to have the information. This is the I want you to know how this impacts your body. This impacts the world. This impacts the lives of the animals that we share this world with. The world is not ours. The world belongs to all of us. So you have to respect everything that is on earth with you. So if you can decide that you want to eat meat down the line and you feel comfortable with that, I've done all that I can do. But, my goal is to give you the information and lead you down the path that I think is best for you as your parent. I think it's so much of it is about just educating your children. And, I feel like with veganism, the only thing we're trying to do is make the world a better place. Anybody that tries to fault you for that, I feel like they may need to take a look at, themselves a little bit and try to ask themselves why they feel like it's so offensive to try to live cruelty-free and be healthy. So I think that's a bigger discussion than, anything else.
Accusing parents of forcing their beliefs upon children don't make much sense to me, because all parents, vegan or not, will use their beliefs as guidance to raise their children. That is kind of a normal process. But in case of veganism, we are not using our beliefs. We're using our knowledge. These are two very different things. And this knowledge is so valuable for them that it would be very stupid for us not to use it.
Raising a child with meat is forcing your beliefs upon someone also. So I was forced to eat meat as a child. That was a belief that was put on me. So
to me, it just doesn't make sense how anyone would think that it was brainwashing, because all we are really doing is informing them of the truth. There's nothing brainwashing about it. The opposite is more brainwashing than the other. To lie to them and to tell them that something is pork, not pig. To say that it's beef, not a cow. That's more diluting the truth than just simply saying this is a cow. And we never try to talk to Elvis like, you need to feel this way, you need to think this way. This is how we think. I always respond with his questions like, well, this is how I think. You can decide for yourself. If you're raising your children in something that they naturally think on their own is to be kind to animals, something that they naturally don't want to hurt animals. They don't want to see animals suffer. And also to respond with their questions and to just speak about the topic in a way of, this is how I think. You can do your own research. You tell me how you want to do the research. What do you want to learn about? In no way is that brainwashing by any means. And we don't make Elvis eat a certain way. When he asks people, like someone says, "Oh, do you want to try this?" Like his friend was eating kefir the other day, and she said, "Do you want some?" And he said, "Is it vegan?" And she said, "No, there's milk in it." And he's like, "Oh, no, thanks." Like he didn't say like, "Oh, I'm not allowed," or "My mom doesn't let me." It was like he's like, "No, I don't want to eat that." As parents, it's our duty to raise our children on the foods that bring the most health. We're doing our children a disservice if we're getting them addicted to junk food and food that is not healthy for their bodies. And just because I think it's important to raise our children to not feel like they have to be like everybody else. This is what everybody's doing, so you should be doing it. Even if it's unhealthy for our bodies, even if it is harming animals that don't want to die, we should be encouraging our children to be who they are as individuals.
I thought that was what parents are. I mean, that's what your job is as a parent. I mean, I'm not supposed to force somebody. We raise them to what we think is what's best. And people won't understand it unless you're a parent. Then you know, hey, everything that I do is what I think is best for them. Our beliefs of treating others how we want to be treated. I mean, I don't see how there's anything bad as far as raising them to not have the mentality of hurting animals and eating them. So.
But other parents think if you eat meat, if there's a disconnect, you're not hurting animals or food. So
we're extreme because we're vegan.
Yeah, we're different. We're hippies, and what else? We're aliens. My mother-in-law said we're not ordinary people.
Yes, I had one friend tell me that I'm forcing veganism on Amina, and she's only doing it because she's scared of me and doesn't want to lose my love and approval or whatever. And then I said, I never got an option when I was a child. I never had the option to go vegetarian or vegan. Meat was forced on me. Dairy was forced on me. Are you giving your children a choice? That's what I asked her. And then later on I told Amina that she said that, and Amina laughed really hard because there's no way I can force anything on her. She has a very strong mind, she's very strong-willed.
Because someone had said to me before, like, you can't, you're just going to raise it vegan and it doesn't get a choice. I just say to them, if you raise your children eating meat, then did you ask them if they wanted to eat meat? Or did you ask them if they wanted to be a Christian? Or did you ask them if they want to wear clothes? Like, parents just are supposed to bring their children up
by your own standards. You bring your children up by your own standards.
Whatever you think is right, then that's what you should do.
And, what I like to say is, I'm against cruelty. I'm not going to allow my children to be cruel to animals. No way. I want them to be better people than that. So I bring them up vegan so that they're helping the animals and the planet. It's for their health. Well, why wouldn't I teach my children that?
Yeah, you teach children tolerance, to accept all ethnicities and all cultures, and to accept all lifestyle choices and be kind to everyone. But as soon as you suggest being kind to animals, everyone loses their, it's really crazy. If you educate your children and are honest about where your food comes from, I doubt that any child will willfully choose to continue eating animals.
I hope you enjoyed hearing from all of the vegan parents. Be sure to check out the video description below for links to their social media accounts so you can follow each family's journey. I'd love to hear your thoughts on raising kids vegan in the comments below, and stay tuned for more to come in the Vegan Parents series. If you liked this bit of a brainwash, do give the video a thumbs up and share it around to help other families. If you're new here, I would love to have you as a subscriber. I put out fresh content covering all aspects of veganism every Monday, Wednesday, and some Fridays. To help support Bite Size Vegan's educational efforts, please see the support links below or click the Nugget Army icon or the link in the sidebar. Now go live vegan, force some compassion on someone, and I'll see you soon.